What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Dark Souls PvP. Alright guys, we're back at it once again with another PvP build showcase. Alright, now this is the standard Tryhard build, Soul level 125, originator unknown. Now, this particular build was not on the Mugen Monkey. But the reason why I chose it is because this is one of the most popular builds amongst all of the quote-unquote pros out there. And for a lot of you guys that are heavily involved in the chats, in the Twitch streams, and the forums, you know, may it be GameFAQs forums, may it be wiki spaces, and any other community. Pretty sure you guys are all familiar with this type of build. Alright, so I figured I'll just go ahead and showcase it. Now, this particular build, you know, it is so easy to be good with this build that honestly, I really don't even give anyone credit, like if you win a lot with it. And I know that's kind of arrogant, you might say. And it may also be, to a degree, discrediting someone's efforts who are successful with it. But the reason why I say that is because, number one, you have all the positives with this build. All of the positives. Number one, you have the Chaos Blade, an OP weapon, in my personal opinion. For the class of weapon, it is definitely OP. It's a katana. And with 10 humanity, in some cases, you can hit for more than 450 damage. I've done it plenty of times. Number two, not only is the weapon strong, but it has a fast recovery. And this is why in a previous video, I basically said that, anyone who's running the katana / Darkwood Grain Ring combination, you're basically playing easy mode. Because, if you're kind of sucking with this type of build, you're probably new and just need a little experience. Case in point, you guys see how fast I just hit that guy and I just inflicted 700 damage. Did that really take effort? Did that really require for me to try anything? Did it require for me to time my attacks? Not necessarily. Because the swing speed is fast. The recovery is just as fast. And because I am using the Darkwood Grain Ring, I can basically stick and move, right? And before my opponent gets an opportunity to counterattack, in most cases, I'm already out of there. Because if you guys notice, all you have to do with this particular build is hit and flip. Hit and flip, hit and flip, hit and flip. That's all you have to do. Now, granted, you might get hit every now and then, but that's basically all you have to do. Hit and flip. Just look at my tactics. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not doing anything spectacular. Nor am I doing anything that I would consider. You guys notice that? 417 damage with a katana. In some cases, you might not even get that with a halberd or a claymore, depending upon what your stats are. So that's one of the reasons why I say the Chaos Blade. It's just one of those OP weapons. But like I was saying before, you have the benefits of a strong weapon with quick recovery speed. Number two, you have the Darkwood Grain Ring, which covers a lot of ground, give you fast mobility, so that you can basically stick and move, stick and move, stick and move. You have 75 in Vitality, which will award you somewhere around 2,000 in health points. So with 2,000 health points, a strong weapon with a fast recovery, for which you will rarely be punished for a misswing or for a miscalculation. You have decent armor stats, but like I said before, since you have the Darkwood Grain Ring, you don't even necessarily need strong armor. Because, you'll be sticking and moving and getting out of there so fast. And there's another thing. This is one of the classics. Most of the people who use this build, that's all they do all day. Just roll BS, roll BS, roll BS. You guys notice that? You guys see how easy it is? And this is why I say not to knock on some of the pros or anyone else who use this type of build. But it is really hard for me to consider someone, and this is just my own opinion, right? So I know all the rage comments are coming, but it is what it is. I'm a commentator. It's really difficult for me to acknowledge a person who uses this type of build primarily as a great player, right? And I say that because, I am of the opinion that the most all-around players are the best. The reason why I say that is because it takes a lot of patience to experiment with a lot of these weapons. It takes timing. Case in point, you have Ferris DK, and I know I kind of talk about Ferris a lot, but I mean, hell, I didn't really mean hell. But, heck, I watch a lot of the guy's videos. And if you watch his videos, he uses just about everything. So, my opinion of him being good is not necessarily based upon whether, he wins all the time. No, it's for the fact that he experiments. And with that experimentation, it requires a lot of patience. In a few of his last videos, he had been experimenting with strength weapons. Strength weapons take a lot of patience. In the past, I've also seen him use dexterity weapons. I've seen him dual wielding. I've seen that guy do some of everything. So despite, whether he may win all the time or as much as some of the quote-unquote pros, I would definitely consider someone like Ferris, Mark Mallows, Jutas, Spades, Elite, and a few of these others. And, for some of you guys that are extra sensitive, if I didn't call your name, is not to say that I don't think you're good. But I can't go through the whole laundry list. But, those are the type of players that I think are good. Because it takes patience to experiment with, less than OP weapons, or less than OP techniques, or less than OP rings, or less than OP armor sets. It takes a lot of patience. You can't just use strength weapons and think you're just going to dominate everybody to the same degree as you will perhaps with a Chaos Blade. So that's why I view things a little differently. Whereas some people may say, well, that guy wins like 90% of his matches and will consider somebody good. I would look at it like, okay, well, what kind of techniques is the guy using? Oh, okay, he's using a flippy katana build? Well, that takes no effort. He didn't really have to try. I mean, he's got fast recovery. He's got a fast swinging weapon. And he can cover a lot of ground with the Darkwood Grain Ring. Okay, so what's so impressive about that? Right? Case in point, let's just compare the Chaos Blade with, let's just say, the Halberd. You guys miss a swing with a Halberd, I mean, your whole character is going to be thrown off track. You miss a swing with let's just say, a Lucerne. You're basically out of there. Now granted, they may hit pretty decent as far as damage is concerned, but that long recovery after you miss, I mean, it's just going to leave you out for punishment. And, whereas with a build like this, you're punishing all day. And with a lot of the players that use this type of build, sometimes they don't even play aggressively. They just basically wait for you to swing and they just counterattack over and over again and roll BS you over and over again because it is oh so easy. So like I said before, let's go over the pros. 75 in Vitality. I don't think we need to say anything about that. I don't think most people are rocking 75 in Vitality. The Chaos Blade. A strong weapon, especially with at least 10 humanity. Not only is it strong, but it has a quick recovery time. That quick recovery time will allow you to parry or to, stick and move, especially when you're using the Darkwood Grain Ring. It's another benefit. Here's another. Darkwood Grain Ring gives you quick mobility and you can cover a heck of a lot of ground out there. So you can basically roll BS all day with almost little to no effort at all. And the thing about it is, I'm not even a good player, right? I've just been playing the game for a long time, but I'm not even all that, and I was doing good with the build. So imagine what the pros do for the guys that basically this is their bread and butter build. I mean, they're almost unstoppable. So, I mean, that's pretty much all the pros. Now, let's just talk about negatives. The only negative that I can think of about another row BS all day. And this is probably the most you guys have ever seen me row BS someone like in a single series of matches. But, I mean, you have all these possibilities when you use this build. So like I was saying with the negatives. The only negatives that I can really think of is maybe the low poise. Now, if you guys would notice, in my series of matches against XAO 27, I did a lot of toggling. Right? That was because, I mean, I pretty much had to. But when you have a Darkwood Grain Ring and a weapon that can swing as fast as the katana and has a quick recovery speed, you almost don't even need to toggle escape. Now, I'm not saying that, don't toggle escape, but is it necessary? I wouldn't say that it's necessary, because since you have all that speed to come with the Darkwood Grain Ring, I mean, you could basically get hit staggered and just go ahead and retreat, and you're still good to go. So that's pretty much the only negative that I can pretty much think of. The low poise. But like I said, because you have the Darkwood Grain Ring, who really needs a lot of poise? Now, as we have covered this build and talked about its strengths and weaknesses, let's just talk about the type of build that I think this is. Could you use this for trolling? I wouldn't say so. Dueling? You definitely could. Because as much as people talk about Tryhard builds, you visit one of these fight clubs or these tournaments, you will see a lot of people pull out the A-game build. And this is what I call the silver spoon, right? Because it's pretty much got all the benefits. So if you don't do well with it, I mean, that's just on you. So you could basically use this build for a lot of things. You can, well, not a lot, but with regard to the type of build, you could use this build for not only duels, but also random invasions. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first showcase, and this is the standard Tryhard build. Alright, so the next build is Ayriak's Dexterity Faith Hybrid Priscilla build at soul level 125. You guys can go ahead and see the stats for yourself. Now, I really hope that I didn't mispronounce Ayriak's name, right? But if I did, my bad, bro. So this is his Pricilla build. Now, I'm not really sure why he called it Priscilla. I don't know if he just kind of liked the name or if he was theming it after something. But I mean, like most people, when I read the name Priscilla, I almost immediately thought about, the Priscilla in the game, right? So I kind of figured it would be some type of life hunt scythe involved in there. But not this time, right? So you guys saw the stats for yourself. This is basically the type of build that you would use, I would say random invasions, because in duels, I mean, a smart player would basically just avoid you. Because think about it. The way Ayriak created this build, he designed it to where you would go ahead and use Power Within and use a buff. Now granted, you guys notice that? I just KO'd that guy with like 3 hits. The first hit for like more than 700 damage, right? So I think when you're doing random invasions, it's a decent build. But like I said before, if you're going to use this during duels, I wouldn't really suggest it. Because the only thing that a smart player would do is just, let your Power Within bring down your Vitality. Because I don't know if you guys paid attention, but this build only has like 32 in Vitality. 32 stinks pretty bad with regard to Vitality. But, I guess this is one of those things where you just kind of trade the benefits for some of the negatives, and you just kind of make your decision, because though it does have low vitality, I mean the damage output potential is so great that it's almost worth the risk. So trolling, no. Random invasions, yeah, I could do random invasions. Dueling, I wouldn't use this build for duels, because like I said, number one, the fact that you're using power within, which is so risky, the only thing that a smart player would have to do is avoid you and just wait till your power within wear down. Number two, your vitality is so little that I really don't see this type of build lasting in a series of duels. Number three, because you only have one Dark Moon Blade and one power within, to get the maximum effect of this build, I mean, you will not be able to do the same thing match after match after match, right? So this is why I say it's not a dueling build, because I found myself on several occasions, originally I was hosting, and I would just go ahead and play it according to Ayriak's, to the way he created the build. But then after I beat my opponent and I was waiting for the next person, I'm like, okay, well, now I have to keep running back to the bonfire and, replenish my buff and my power within. So that kind of stinks, right? Because if you're going to go through a long streak, who wants to keep running, to the bonfire over and over and over again just to reset your castings? I mean, I don't really want to do that, and that's why I prefer pure melee builds. So with regard to the PvP build type, I would just say that this is basically a random invasions build. But even that's taking a risk, because think about it. If you get caught in a 2v1 or a 3v1, granted, you might do well because you're hitting for so strong, but like I said before, the fact that you're using power within makes this build very risky. And you couple that with the fact that it only has 32 in vitality, you're really going to take some chances. So I would say random invasions, but with caution. Alright, so enough about the type of the build that I would consider this to be. So let's talk about the pros. You have a lot of pros. You have 50 in faith. You have the Painting Guardian Sword, which is actually rather strong with 40 in dexterity. You have power within to buff your Dark Moon Blade or Sunlight Blade in the event that your primary buff wears out. And the damage output, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but in a lot of these cases, like I said before, I would inflict like 700 damage with just one hit. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed right there, but the first hit inflicted like 800 damage. So granted, you have a lot of positives, but those positives are also offset by some negatives. Now, what are the negatives? The biggest negative, in my personal opinion, to this build is 32 vitality. Now, 32 vitality might not be that bad if you didn't have the power within. But the fact that you have power within really makes this build pretty risky. Your vitality is already low. And like I said, if you're dealing with a smart opponent, all they have to do is avoid you and let basically the power within eat away at your HP, considering how low it is. So low vitality coupled with power within are two huge negatives in my personal opinion. Huge negatives. Aside from that, the fact that you have to keep hitting up the bonfire to replenish your power within and your buffs, that's kind of a negative, because like I said before, if you're just kind of want to do some duels and you're going through a streak, I mean, who really wants to keep going to and from the bonfire? So I mean, if you just wanted to do duels, I would probably suggest for you to do it the way I did it. Like, go ahead and kill the boss and then invade that way, because that way you wouldn't have to worry about hosting. and you wouldn't have to worry about going back and forth to the bonfire and replenishing everything. You could just go ahead, take your win or your loss, and have those things replenished after you return to your own world. So if you're going to duel, I would say duel by laying down your red soapstone summon sign, or through invasion in one of these designated, quote-unquote designated dueling areas. So that's pretty much it. Like I said before, this could be used for dueling if you kill the boss, or random invasions, but with a lot of caution during random invasions. It has positives. It's got like 54 poise. It's got a buffed Painting Guardian Sword, for which a lot of these hits, I don't know, like I said before, if you guys pay close attention, I've been inflicting like 700 or more damage with just one hit from the buffed Painting Guardian Sword. So that's another positive. And you also have the buff that comes with the Power Within. Right? So you have all those positives. Negatives, as I talked about them before, you have low HP, and all that coupled with Power Within. So it really makes this risky. So all in all, I think it's a good build. Personally, it's not really my style, because like I said before, I like to challenge myself. And just, 2 and 3 KOing people, it wasn't really fun to me. Right now, is it impressive that you can hit one person for like 800 damage with just one swing? Yeah, it's impressive. But I mean, doing it on a long run, it would really get boring, because like I said before, this is just a personal thing. I know a lot of people, they like to kill as quickly as they can, but I am impressed by tactics and not necessarily how fast you can end the fight. And this is why a lot of times when I'm dueling, I'll go for BS, but I won't be fishing for them. Neither will I take every single opportunity, because it's just really too easy to pop off a whole bunch of those during duels. Now, random invasions, I don't care about anything, and I have zero restraint. Right? So, like I said before, I think the build was cool, but after I got done with these series of matches, I was pretty much satisfied, and kind of didn't want to resurrect this build. Right? Because just killing people in 2 and 3 hits just wasn't really my cup of tea. But is definitely a good build. Obviously impressive, but with risks. So I hope you guys enjoy another volume of the PvP build showcase. I'll be working on some more builds. As a matter of fact, I'll be looking through some more of the Mugen Monkey, and I'll be going through some of these other sites that may have build showcases or presets or templates or whatnot. I'll be going through them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this particular upload of the series, and until next time, Martyrs Brigade is